fortunate, then, that we have a replacement for you. But she just pushes her in anyway. Hello, and welcome back to the final videos of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Well, I believe they're the finals, because look who we're about to face. Discari. I think he's a little bit sore after his little bitty defeat back in Eyes. So, who is this crawling insect that repeatedly interferes with my plans? A weapon of the impostor goddess? My servants' playthings? A slave of some abyssal overlord? I do not understand why this mortal still lives, or whom she serves. Discari looks you in the eye and runs a claw along the blade of his scythe. The sound of his claws scraping against the blade sends a shiver down your spine. The great Discari dislikes incomprehensible things and unfinished business. The pesky gnat that eluded my scythe and eyes. It won't escape this time. You know how powerful I am. Aren't you taking a risk by facing me in battle? What if I kill you? Discari fears nothing. This foolish mortal does not know what she is saying. Even if by some miracle she prevails in this battle, the immortal deity will simply return to his realm. But a mortal gnat, the price of defeat is her life. But Discari, it is a minor inconvenience. You know, I would have finished you off in Eyes if you hadn't fled. Would have, if you hadn't. Oh, the prideful fantasies of mortals. Dreams of what could have been if the world were different. Dreams that will shatter when confronted with this unflinching reality. The mortal has no chance against the great Discari. And you want to know whom I serve? Haven't you figured it out yet? Whom, then? This no longer matters, since the mortal gnat only has moments left to live. But let her speak. Discari is listening. I serve my friends and comrades who have entrusted me their lives. Mortals, society's pathetic imitation of swarm. Insects without master, scraps of meat buzzing around senselessly, amusing themselves with meaningless words. Friendship, duty, army, patriotism. They will achieve perfection once they are consumed by Discari's swarm. Ah dear, I took everything you once had on Glorium. Cities, armies, minions. Now I think I will take your life. Everything Discari takes is for eternity. Galorian is mine. The mortals of Galorian are mine. This tiny mortal insect dares to stand against me, so I will feast on her flesh. Discari raises his scythe. Here it goes. This seems fine. It's only Discari. Yeah, this is fine. It's only Discari. We missed. Ah, he's not close enough.
Enimosi Travisi.
The music is absolutely rocking.
Make every strike count.
Aborone Sentes.
When the fate gives your friend a challenge, you respond with a special die. For 3 rounds, the target ally always rolls 20 on their... I really wanted to cast out on Tila, but... Jump! Yeah, you take it. Maybe I should get...
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Do you know what I didn't cast? Yes. All-seeing. I never seem to cast all-seeing. I am the worst.
Aborones Certes.
Desna, guide my hand. Lesano Daniel.
I'm really digging the music. Ah! I got swarms. I got swarms.
Inimosi Travisi.
Make your peace.
Alright. Smite it down. Murder him. Ooh, take your sight. Okay. Discari down. Why was Discari easier? That's what really getting me. Why was Discari easier than the freaking... I don't know. I don't think that is the right way. Stop it. Uh-oh. It's falling down! I suppose the argument is I did go up a mythic rank, so... Oh, this is it. The interplay of light and shadow in this place gives Arilu an otherworldly look. She stands at the edge of the vast rift, watching the dancing reflections cast by the violet flames. When she speaks, her voice is calm and thoughtful. This is where it happened. It was all here that I conducted the ritual, sewing my soul and the essence of the abyss together, feeling the world change around me as every stitch brought Galorian closer to the abyss. And it was here that, even though you have no memory of it, I did the same to your soul. A researcher must not have any personal feelings for the subjects of their experiments, and yet I find myself unable to remain completely detached from the world wound. I created it. I allowed it to be. It holds a place in my heart, even if I'm slowly paying for it with my life. Arilu turns towards you. Scarlet blood seeps from the wound in her chest. A researcher must be particularly resilient in the face of mistakes, incorrect hypotheses, and failed experiments. You are my failed experiment. I think I feel some regret for ending your current life, but you can rest assured that such sentiments will not stop me. I can tell you've been preparing this place for battle, but there's more to it, am I right? I sense barrier spells waiting to be activated, and there's something else. Something deadly. You're so adept at magic. There's a hint of pride in Rilu's voice, but she immediately catches herself. Of course I've been preparing for our meeting. Hopefully I'm well prepared. You've done all this just to save your child? Yes. Arilu answers and laughs hoarsely. And no. Even if I could have brought back my daughter, I wouldn't have stopped at that. I wouldn't have been satisfied. Not after what I'd gone through. Not after the things I'd learned. I wanted to become stronger, and I wished the same for my child. I didn't want to be afraid of anything. It wasn't the dogs of Threshold or even Sarkoris itself that threatened us. It was the laws of the world, governed by death, weakness, and separation. That is why I needed the power of the engendering crystals. I did not merely wish to stave off the agony of the wound. I wanted to tear my daughter from the grasp of everything that makes us weak and mortal. You have seen a goddess. You have been face to face with demon lords. Were you awed by their greatness? Did you enjoy living in a world where your entire life cycle has been predetermined? Where everything from your birth to what will happen to your soul after you die? That all this has been decided for you? Or do you find now that you have experienced the mythic power coursing through your blood, that you prefer to live in a world that you can change? A world that offers you a chance to be anything you want? I enjoy having power, yes, but only because it allows me to make the world a better and more funner place. I also want to make the world a better place, but not for everyone, only for the one person I care about. Arilu gives you a small smile. Why did you call me a failed experiment? The witch shivers, as if caught by a sudden chill. She looks away for a moment. When I poured what was left of my daughter's soul into your soul, I was expecting it to bring her back. They say death and judgment of Pharasma purges the soul of everything it once was in life. But this cannot be true. I have researched this subject meticulously and have collected enough evidence to prove that supernatural beings born from mortal souls can't recall their past, sometimes partially and sometimes fully. I watched you day and night, waiting for it to happen, for your memory to awaken, your instincts, at least, for anything familiar, something I could immediately recognize. I tested you, I asked you questions, and nothing. Nothing. You merged the remnants of your daughter's soul with mine, so why do you want to harm me? If a hypothesis is proven wrong, it needs to be rejected. But the research process does not stop there. That is all I can tell you right now. You've been carrying the wound in your soul for so long. Does that mean you will die soon? It will kill me eventually. But I still have some time left. Years or decades, perhaps. But it doesn't matter. One of us will die today. What will happen if one of us steps into the wound? The tearing of the soul, followed by a cruel and terrible death. But it will likely be quick, Arilu responds nonchalantly. I have no more questions. And then it's finally time to end all this. Stop. The wound may be killing our souls, but we can find a way to solve this without bloodshed. Asking me to stop is like asking a river not to flow, or a volcano not to erupt. Arilu's crimson eyes are fixed on you. Death is not the end. I have spent hundreds of years trying to prove it, and I will not stop now. This experiment was unsuccessful. But that just means I need to adjust the initial conditions and try again. I am still alive. I still have time. You, the current you, will have to die, but only to surrender the soul you share with my daughter. I will start over. This time I will do everything differently. I will work with even greater precision. I will turn the world upside down if I must. For a moment, a single heartbeat, Aurelia was silent. I promise. Oh, here we go! But something deadly is gonna happen. Okay. Whew. Well, she is buggered off. I don't know. I Something doesn't feel right. Oh, she's right there. I didn't even see her. I didn't see her. In all honesty, that's why I was skipping goes. I didn't see her.
Amranda Gratior!
Oh!
I will resist.
No glory without risk!
You won't survive me.
Apparently, you didn't hit. Yay, you got a hit of her.
Fabrizio Turinos!
Prepare yourself.
Okay, at least Sela's hitting her. It's time to call in my new Wild Hunt. Okay. Did I just get one archer? I mean, I'm not against it. I actually think we got a few. Got a scout and a monarch. Who's calling in more? Nice. Get up. I can get up now. Don't you dare move. It's okay then. Okay, that's cheating.
Worse.
I noticed how she's going for land.
Desna, guide my hand.
I don't know, have I? Have a dice. Nat 20.
Endure this!
We're just simply not hitting. And of course, this isn't her only form. It can't be.
This is not my time yet. Unexpected. It's glorious.
Make your peace.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
Okay. It really looks as though she is about to collapse, but she does her best to remain upright. I never thought that I would be responsible for the creation of my most powerful enemy. I can see you, Sucha. Show yourself. The Sutra appears from hiding and looks at you balefully. I've been waiting for you to get distracted and so I can stab you in the back. I've uncovered your plan. The spells in this chamber are designed to kill you if something goes wrong. You've been preparing for this outcome from the start. Am I right? How very perceptive. Arilu is wringing her hands in agitation. But you didn't think I would make it easy, did you? I won't let you win. You need me alive. You want to use me to close the wound. But I can destroy myself before you have a chance. Arilu, this is madness, an act of evil, and it is absolutely pointless. You won't accomplish anything. Is this really how you wish to go? Don't do this. Arilu's eyes blaze for a moment, and then she relents. You're right. I won't gain anything from this. So, what now? I don't know. Arilu's eyes are full of anger and disbelief. The wound above her heart is bleeding, and her shoulders are trembling, but she raises her chin defiantly. You are stronger than I could ever anticipated. As your creator, I should be proud. To be defeated by the one I have imbued with power, is there any higher praise? But I'm tired. You won't hear me pleading. Let us finish this experiment here and now. That whole bit made me pity her. I freaking pity her. I can't believe I'm doing this. I am not going to sacrifice you, Arilu. A hint of curiosity flashes in Arilu's eyes. Then what are you going to do? Sacrifice your life to seal the wound? Or just turn around and leave. Ah! I should have just pushed her in. I don't like this. I'm walking away, even if it means the wound stays open. How fortunate, then, that we have a replacement for you. But she just pushes her in anyway. The color drains from Arilu's face, but she's unable to react in time. The strike by the Lady in Shadow is precise and merciless. It sends the architect of the world wound into the maw of her own creation. As I always had to do everything myself. With a chuckle, Nocticia blows a lock of hair out of her eyes. See, Titania von Shire, things are great. You're alive, the wound is healing, and we all have a wonderful lives ahead of us in a new world. Let us enjoy the moment. It's not every day one witnesses the end of a phenomenon that changed the lives of generations of mortals and demons.
Let's rest now, so the enemy doesn't.
Oh, wow. Life and death, destiny and great deeds, answer to mysteries, the search for one's true path. The mind can comprehend all of these, and then such concepts can be written down as a sequence of formulas, a series of lines, a chain of thought. Still, a moment always comes when it is time to wrap up, to reach a conclusion, to put a period at the end of the last sentence. The impossible rift, the bleeding wound that had tormented all of Glorian for hundreds of years, was finally healed. The life and soul of the one who once inflicted the wound upon the world became dissolved, and with the death of a witch Arilu Vorlesh, the world wound she had created vanished, as well as she did. The Fifth Crusade may not have lasted long, but in that short time Dresden became the commander's city, her bulwark, her citadel. Unsurprisingly, she remained the ruler of the city and the surrounding lands after the spectacular victory at Threshold. The council convened one last time to celebrate the closing of the world wound. Throughout the feast, the council members couldn't shake the nagging feeling that they had forgotten to invite someone to the party. But they were so preoccupied with toasting their own wisdom that they never remembered who it could be. The energetic king, Farmadine, reigned over the merry city of Dresden for many years. He was hailed as the finest monarch in history of Golorian, as he never interfered in the affairs of the city, but simply hosted one festival after another, and the people say that he brought luck to anyone who raised a glass to His Majesty's health. The Church of Caden Kalian revered him as a saint. As the leader of the Crusaders, the commander won their loyalty and obedience. Even in the Crusade's darkest hours, the commander found ways to restore the army's supply lines. Her military acumen were beyond question. Under her leadership, the divided, poorly trained Crusader forces were reforged into an invincible army. Due to the success of the commander's diplomatic strategy, by the end of the war, Mendev's true political center was Dresden, not near Cyan. And after gaining the support of foreign rulers and finding allies in the capital, Dresden became the shining example of the new Mendev, one that was nurtured by the commander's ideas. The significance and accomplishments of the crusade were so great that even a century after the end of the war, Dresden retained its prominence on the map of Avestan. The commander's diplomatic, military, and administrative talent turned the fortress into a key political player. Queen Galfrey returned to Nea Cyan with the intent to rule Mendev as before. But as it turned out, Mendevian society was hungry for a change. The war-ravaged nation desired new leadership, but the queen would not countenance yielding her authority to anyone else. She believed her duty to her homeland had not yet been fulfilled. Upon his return to Kenabreus, Chundawe did everything in his power to prevent a repeat of Hulrun's atrocities. He banned torture and disbanded the Inquisition, transferring all matters of eternal security over to the Eagle Watch. The wardstones from the chain that once guarded the borders of Mendev were carefully disassembled, one by one. The angels that had been trapped inside returned to heaven to heal their wounded spirits and prepare for new battles against evil. The victory over the Worldwound changed many things, not just on Golorion, but in the Midnight Isle as well. Nocticula spent many days pondering the words of a certain young, fearless prophet. Before long, the Lady in Shadows openly renounced her realm and named herself the Redeemer Queen. This revolt against her own demonic nature transformed Nocticula, severed her ties to the Abyss, and brought her to Elysium. There, upon creating a realm named the Midnight Palace, the Redeemer Queen attained divine power and became a patroness of exiles. The now vacant throne was instantly seized by Chimera, the Ardent Dream. However, her power could not compare to the might of the Lady in Shadow. The Midnight Isles, which had become a tempting prize for many demons, were plunged into chaos. The demon lord Baphomet suffered a defeat. The Worldwound was closed, and the convenient passage to Golorion was sealed along with it. Baphomet shifted his attention to the realms of the other demon lords. A cell of the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth was soon discovered in Al-Shanara. The demon lord Discari suffered a defeat. He bided his time, continuing to plot his invasion on Golorion, and after that, of heaven itself. The cultists that remained on Golorion went mad one after another, tortured by the nightmarish dreams their lord had sent to them. The commander's escapades in Al-Shanara left a lasting impression on its denizens. Under Zermagalef's management, the Battle Bliss lost its status as the best arena in Al-Shanara, but gained renown as the best circus. Visitors now came not to watch bloodshed, but to laugh. The best performances in the arena were now method races, larva, speed eating contests, and fights to the death between the upper and lower halves of the same demon. The unrelenting killer and vigilante known as the Red Mask continued her purge of Al-Shanara and assembled a full squad of Asimar assassins. Demons enjoyed listening to the stories of their bloody exploits, that is, until the assassins came to collect their heads. The place where the commander's camp had once stood became a symbol of freedom for runaway slaves in the Abyss. They flocked to the Nexus by hundreds and erected a real fortress which held out against several assaults by the slaves. Gesmira was true to her word. The Winter Sun clan left the land of their ancestors, and once they had left the borders of the former Sarkoris, the clan split into several branches. One went to the wildlands of Nymeria, others set off to free Verceria. A small group led by Gesmira chose to travel to Andoran, where they were lost among the many refugees fleeing other lands and other wars. The Winter Sun clan ceased to be. The Tirabades were adamant about retiring from military services, leaving it all behind and escaping together, but urgent Eagle Watch business forced them to stay for a week, and then for a month, and then for many years. Even as Anivia cursed their lot, however, her eyes would shine with pride, for she was always the first to admit that Irabeth was not the kind of person who would just up and retire. The Dretch, known as Suture, never made peace with the loss of his mistress. He retreated to her old laboratory, where he wandered the empty halls, activating the magical projectors again and again. For in their pale light there still lived an image of the one who had become so important to the solitary demon. The abyssal boy named Zorges had intended to leave the material plane, but a conversation with the commander after victory over the Worldwound caused him to change his mind. The details of this conversation are unknown, but a week later Zorges knocked on the door of the Pathfinder's Society Grand Lodge and was accepted into the Society as a ward. It was the beginning of a long, adventurous saga. The The commander's decision to destroy the Numerian device that she had captured in Blackwater clan encampment had dire consequences. Free of the mechanisms that inhabited and controlled it, the mysterious core of the device soon awakened and vanished in a flash of magical energy. Within weeks, Numerian hunters began to tell tales of a strange construct they had encountered in the mountains. It was the skeleton of a machine of some sort, alien and incomprehensible, that had been built by people with hollow eyes. The storyteller, as old as tales he collected, continued his travel across Golorian, occasionally beyond. He knew that out there, somewhere, there was one story he would never find, his own. Once again, Sela heard the call of the open road. Even after gaining mythic powers and coming face to face with a goddess and demon lords, she never stopped being a paladin and a wandering knight whose purpose was to help others. You helped Sela overcome her problems. Staying true to friends was in Sela's blood, and it was And it is that even while journeying through the furthest reaches of Golorian, she tried her best to keep in touch with the commander. Their rare meetings were always filled with joy. Having properly fulfilled his duty to the mongrels and, to his surprise, avoided death, Lan was suddenly faced with a choice: what to do with his life now that it wasn't going to end anytime soon. His hesitation did not last long, and just a few months later he went on a sea voyage to see the world he had saved. But the first place Lan visited, however, was near Sian. He visited his mother and stayed with her until the road called to him once again. The commander accompanied her beloved on this journey. And even when Lan did have to part with the commander, he would always miss her and do all he could to come back to his beloved wife as soon as possible. No matter how much time he had left to live, he wanted to spend every second with the one who was more precious to him than his own life. Sometime after the victory over the World Wound, the commander's entourage began to notice her rounded tummy. After the victory, Ember simply sat for a long time, staring at the tongues of flames dancing in her hands. Her new powers frightened her. The awestruck redeemed were ready to hang on her every word, and that frightened her even more. She left without saying goodbye to anyone, and continued her endless wayfaring along the roads of Golorian, helping the distressed and punishing evildoers. Many worshipped her as a saint, but she would always respond with, "Please, I'm just an ordinary girl." Soon after the war, the tireless researcher of all things research were embarked on a new journey. She had a sudden urge to know how much time it would take to visit every nation on Golorian. She never returned. In Nenir's eyes, you never became a person. She forgot about me. No, she did not perish. She simply got carried away with another experiment and forgot to come back. After the victory, Old Brigg refused to give up. Hoping there still were remains of old Sarkoris left somewhere, he spent the rest of his days wandering the lands of the former World Wound and their surroundings, searching but in vain. Dirin Arendae was free from the other's gaze, but not from the watchful eyes of the Inquisitor Lytor. The Count's great vexation, Lytor openly continued to watch him. It is unlikely Dirin realized that this monitoring saved him from far more serious dealings with the Inquisition. The Count himself seemed lost for a long time. His old life was over, and he struggled to find a place in a new one. He never lost his respect, or should that be his fondness for the commander, and would often visit her in Dresden. To his own surprise, Wolfchief Jefto became a war hero. Esteem and fame were shortly followed by great wealth. The thiefling did not let his newfound fortune turn his head, but chose to invest the money in several profitable ventures and one charity for street urchins. Within a few years, his signature style came to include a top hat, a cane, and a bit of a belly. There was a lot of talk in the taverns of Absalon about the time soon after the end of the war, when Wolfchief appeared in the city in the company of Count Dirin Arendae. It remains unclear whether Dirin treated the thiefling as a wayward younger brother or court jester, but he took pleasure in showing him the world. The third person in the group was rumored to be the commander herself. After the victory, Soizel returned home. Now a famed crusader hero, he humbly officiated at the Temple of Shaylin, painted, grew sweet-smelling fruits, and made the best wine in the region. His former kindly smile returned less and less often. He avoided talking about the war, and when people asked about his brother's fate, he just curtly replied that Trevor had been killed by demons. After spending so much time in the commander's company and in the presence of her mythic powers, and against the wishes of Soizel himself, the wine from his winery had an unusual and incredible properties. It could, for instance, teleport itself from the barrel directly into the mouths of tavern patrons, even if those patrons had not yet paid for it, and hadn't ordered any in the first place. This wine could also sprout legs and leave eager to explore the world. Because of these inexplicable properties, tavern keepers were rather reluctant to buy Soizel's wine. During the war, Soizel met an engineer by the name of Aaron Kerr. That meeting turned into friendship, which turned into love, and then it was time for the wedding. Later, the cleric would say that only the memory of his beloved had allowed him to cope with the terrors of the abyss and keep his sanity. Having received an invitation to the wedding, Sela was torn about whether or not she should attend. She felt her presence at her friend's wedding would be a bad omen. In the end, she overcame her fears, and it was all well worth it. Her stories and army songs were the highlight of the festivities. The Fifth Crusade had concluded, but the former Paralictor Regil Deranger was plagued by doubts. Had his every step been truly faultless? He returned to Chiliax and spent much time pensively wandering the cemetery where the members of his orders were usually buried. And it was there that his bleaching-stricken body was eventually discovered. After the victory over the Whirlwind, Greyball did not return to his former profession. After all, the war had shown him that gold was not a good enough reason to kill. Greyball went wandering, and every time he encountered dishonorable, unscrupulous behavior, he would not deny himself the pleasure of a confrontation. In Avestan, the brave dwarf was reputed to be a noble knight-errant, but whenever he heard such a thing, he would just let out a good-natured chuckle. He simply enjoyed a good fight. Another of the commander's companions who frequently joined him on his travel was Lan. They enjoyed several sea adventures together, as well as a trip to Absalom. Quite unexpectedly, Greyball and Lan ran into Darian and Wolfjiff in Absalom, in the company of the commander. This meeting turned into a week-long party across all the city taverns. On the 7th day of their plentiful libations, the comrades in arms decided to undergo the test of the Starstone, but managed to stop themselves before it was too late. Arashale had changed her nature, completely ridding herself of evil, but she would not dare to live among mortals. She took up residence in a small house away from their settlements. Shortly afterwards, rumor began to spread. Some said that there was some kind of sorceress living in the cottage, or perhaps a reclusive saint, and people would come to her asking for help. She never refused anyone, and in time she earned their trust and friendship. Another of the commander's companions, Sela the Paladin, visited her sister-in-arms on a number of occasions to share tales of her latest adventure. Their meetings were always joyful and the conversations long and heartfelt. Oh, is that Pharasma? And what of me, the writer of these words, the half-demon witch known as the architect of the Whirlwind? I was defeated and fell at the hand of the one I had tried to transform. My experiment ended in failure, and my life ended along with it. I have recounted the story of my life for you, Pharasma, Lady of Graves. Not only of my life, but of the commander's also. I believe the tale of such an illustrious figure could pique even a goddess's curiosity. Now you know everything, and I wait your verdict, goddess. Silence hangs over the boneyard. The Lady of Graves is weighing her decision, and it seems the entire universe is holding its breath, awaiting her pronouncement. Who would dare to break the silence so Absolute could intervene? Though you are no longer here, your mythic powers entitle you to a say in this trial. I don't know. The world's The god creator exists in delicate balance. A real force attempt overrunner, which represents a direct challenge to you. Stood by and did nothing. Doesn't that suggest that the whirlwind was not so a great a threat to the universe? A ruler's crime. No. I appeal to your mercy. The planes are soft enough. Do not add to the evil already wrought by yet another act of evil. Yeah. I appeal to your mercy. The planes have suffered enough. Do not add to the evil already wrought with yet another act of evil. Your words ring out in silence. They are heard, considered, and given their due weight. The laws of the universe have existed for millennia. They are incontrovertible. But even they allow the decider of fate some degree of influence over the verdict. You wrought great evil, while it stemmed from the evil that was done to you. Your actions far exceeded. Your soul is dark, and there is only one place for you in the universe. And yet, the one whom you harmed most of all now appeals to me on your behalf. I shall send you to the Maelstrom, the plane on the edge of the world, a place to which the gods' gazes do not stray. There you will find yourself, or you will perish in a whirlwind of chaos that is your soul. So be it. Now you, Titania von Shire II, the mortal who has risen so high as to stand boldly in the presence of the goddess of fate, you have done the impossible, and you will be remembered as long as the universe exists. Go, live out the rest of your life. I look forward to the tales of your future deeds. That is so cool! Oh, that is so cool! And we finished Pathfinder. That is, oh my gosh. So many hours, so many videos. Ah, so good! I'm kinda... It's like I can't believe it's done. I can't believe it's done. Wow. Wow, that was great. Wow. I loved that. That was a great journey. I really did. I loved that so much. Thank you to everyone who has been watching my videos. It has been a long road, and I really appreciate it. And if you are new and you're just catching this video, oh, hit the playlist button. Go all the way back, because I don't know what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, but thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button. It would mean the world to me. And if you did enjoy it, hit the subscribe button, because there is many other CRPGs in the brain that's going to get played. So I will see you when I'm next looking at you. Thank you so much, folks, for watching Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous.